10 places where nature is reclaiming cities. As we continue to grow and expand our concrete empires, there are parts of our cities that are sometimes forgotten. These areas become desolate wastelands, overtaken by weeds and debris. But what happens when Mother Nature is left all alone in these forgotten spaces? What happens when she has no humans to take care of them? She takes matters into her own hands. And today we get to see what that looks like. From New York City to the jungles of India, here are 10 places where nature is reclaiming cities. Number 10. Chernobyl. After the devastating nuclear accident of 1986, the entire area around the Chernobyl plant was evacuated and abandoned. For years, scientists have been monitoring this area for signs of life, and what they have found is nothing short of incredible. While some animals avoid the area altogether, others have not only survived but thrived in this radioactive wasteland. In fact, there are now more wolves in the Chernobyl exclusion zone than there were before the disaster. This is because the wolves have no natural enemies in the area, and they are free to roam and hunt without human interference. Wolves aren't the only animals that have benefited from the nuclear disaster. There has also been a surge in the population of wild boars, deer, and even monkeys. The monkeys were actually brought in from a zoo in Pripyat, and they have since multiplied. The most amazing thing about the animals in the Chernobyl exclusion zone is that they are not afraid of humans. This is because the animals have had so little contact with humans since the disaster that they are curious rather than fearful. Visitors to the exclusion zone often report seeing animals just walking up to them and sniffing their hands. It is truly amazing to see how nature has rebounded in this area after such a devastating disaster. Now 9. Central Park, New York City. Central Park is one of the most famous parks in the world. It is a place where people go to relax and enjoy nature in the middle of a busy city. But did you know that Central Park was once a garbage dump? When the park was first created in the 1850s, it was filled with trash from the nearby streets. But over time, nature has reclaimed the park, and it is now a beautiful oasis in the middle of Manhattan. Today, Central Park is home to a variety of plants and animals, including squirrels, chipmunks, birds, and even foxes. There are also a number of different types of trees and shrubs in the park, which provide food and shelter for the animals. In addition to the wildlife, Central Park is also home to a number of beautiful lakes and ponds. These bodies of water are not only popular with the park's many visitors, but they are also important habitats for a variety of aquatic animals. Overall, Central Park is a great example of how nature can reclaim an area that was once covered in trash. It is also a reminder of the importance of protecting our green spaces. No wait, Detroit. It's no secret that Detroit has had a rough go of it in recent years. The city's population has dwindled, and it has become known as the Motor City. But while Detroit may be struggling, nature is thriving. All across the city, buildings are being reclaimed by the natural world. In some cases, this is literally happening as trees and plants are taking over vacant lots and creeping up the sides of buildings. In other cases, it is happening figuratively as animals are returning to the city in droves. One of the most iconic images of Detroit's urban decay is the famous Heidelberg Project. This outdoor art installation was created in 1986 and consists of a series of houses that have been decorated with bright colors and patterns. While the project was intended to be a commentary on the city's decline, it has also become a symbol of nature's resilience. Over the years, the houses have become covered in vines and other vegetation, and they are now truly part of the surrounding environment. Another great example of nature reclaiming Detroit is the Packard Automotive Plant. This former auto manufacturing plant closed in 1996 and has since been abandoned. However, the plant is in the process of being redeveloped into a mixed-use space that includes office space, retail space, and a hotel. However, nature has other plans for the site. Trees and plants are rapidly growing on the site, and in a few years it will likely be unrecognizable. 7. Havana, Cuba. Havana, Cuba is a city that is slowly being reclaimed by nature. Buildings are crumbling, vegetation is taking over the streets, and animals are roaming freely. This is due to the fact that Havana was built on a fault line and the city is in a state of constant decline. As the city crumbles, nature is quick to move in. Plants and trees are growing out of the cracks in the sidewalks and walls. Animals such as chickens, goats, and pigs are running freely through the streets, and even the buildings themselves are being reclaimed by the jungle. Despite the fact that Havana is a dangerous place to live, people still call it home. The residents have learned to live with the danger, and they continue to make the best of a bad situation. They have turned the crumbling buildings into homes and the overgrown vegetation into a source of food. The animals that roam the streets are considered pests, but they are also a source of protein for the residents. Life in Havana is not easy, but the people make it work. They have a strong sense of community and they rely on each other to survive. In spite of the danger, there is a certain beauty to Havana. The crumbling buildings and overgrown vegetation create a unique landscape that is unlike anything else in the world. It is a city that is in a state of constant change, and it is truly a one-of-a-kind experience. Number 6. Hordacoupland, Norway. The small town of Hordacoupland is located in western Norway. It is a picturesque town with traditional wooden houses and cobblestone streets. However, the town is slowly being reclaimed by nature. The houses are falling apart and the streets are overgrown with grass and weeds. This is due to the fact that the town was abandoned in the early 1900s, when the people of Hood Copeland moved to the nearby city of Bergen for better job opportunities. Since then, nature has taken over the town. Trees and shrubs have grown up around the houses and animals such as deer and rabbits have made their homes here. The buildings in Hood Copeland are slowly but surely being reclaimed by the forest. In a few years, the town will likely be unrecognizable. Despite the fact that Hood Copeland is abandoned, it is still a beautiful place. The old houses and overgrown streets create a unique atmosphere that is unlike anything else in Norway. It is a place where nature has truly reclaimed its own. No. 5. Jaisalmer, India. Jaisalmer is a city in the Indian state of Rajasthan. It is known as the Golden City because most of the buildings are made out of sandstone, which is a golden color. Jaisalmer is also known as the City of Lakes because it is home to a number of large lakes. However, Jaisalmer is also a very dry city. The average rainfall is only about 3 inches per year. In recent years, the water levels in the lakes have dropped dramatically. This has caused the city to become more and more arid. As the city has become more arid, nature has responded accordingly. Plants such as cacti and succulents have begun to take over the streets and buildings. Animals such as snakes and lizards are also making their homes here. In particular, Jaisalmer is becoming known for its snake population. There are all sorts of different species of snakes living in the city, including venomous ones. The people of Jaisalmer have learned to live with the snakes, and they even have a sort of respect for them. Despite the snakes, Jaisalmer is still a beautiful city. The golden sandstone buildings and lush greenery create a unique atmosphere that is unlike anywhere else in India. It is a city that is truly in harmony with nature. 4. San Francisco. San Francisco is a beautiful city, but it is also a very expensive one. In recent years, many people have been priced out of the city and have moved to the surrounding areas. This has led to a decrease in population in San Francisco and an increase in the amount of empty homes. As the homes have sat empty, nature has begun to reclaim them. Plants and trees have grown up around the houses and animals such as birds and squirrels have made their homes inside. The most famous example of this is the case of the Pink House. This Victorian-era house was abandoned by its owner in 2015, and it has since been taken over by nature. The house is now covered in ivy and other vegetation, and it looks like it belongs in a fairy tale. Despite the fact that San Francisco is one of the most expensive cities in the world, nature is reclaiming it. This is a reminder that no matter how much money you have, you can't beat Mother Nature. No. 3. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is a beautiful city with a lot of history. It is home to several universities and colleges, as well as a number of museums and cultural attractions. However, in recent years, the city has seen a lot of population loss, and a lot of its buildings have been abandoned. Nature is slowly beginning to reclaim these buildings and the city as a whole. One of the most iconic images of Pittsburgh is the old steel mills that line the rivers. These mills are no longer in use, but they remain standing, slowly being reclaimed by the natural world. Another example of nature reclaiming Pittsburgh is the many abandoned houses that dot the city. These houses are often in poor condition and the city simply doesn't have the resources to tear them down. As a result, they stand empty, allowing nature to take over. Despite the challenges it faces, Pittsburgh is still a beautiful city. Its rich history and cultural attractions make it worth visiting. And the natural beauty that is slowly reclaiming the city is simply a bonus. No. 2. Kaohsiung, Taiwan. Kaohsiung is the second largest city in Taiwan. It is a bustling metropolis with tall buildings and busy streets. However, amidst all of the hustle and bustle, nature is quietly reclaiming the city. One example of this is the Kaohsiung port. The port is one of the busiest in Taiwan, but it is also home to a variety of plants and animals. Birds such as herons and egrets can be seen hunting for fish in the waters, while crabs and other creatures scuttle along the docks. Another example of nature reclaiming Kaohsiung is in the city's many parks. Although these areas are manicured and maintained, they are still home to a variety of native plants and animals. This includes trees such as the Chinese banyan and the Formosan sweet gum, as well as animals such as the Formosan land snail and the Taiwan blue butterfly. Despite the challenges posed by urbanization, nature is thriving in Kaohsiung. The city's residents are fortunate to have so many opportunities to connect with the natural world, and it is a testament to the city's commitment to sustainability. No. 1. Pripyat, Ukraine. Pripyat was once a bustling city of 50,000 people. It was home to a number of schools, hospitals, and other public buildings. However, in 1986, the nearby Chernobyl nuclear power plant exploded. This caused widespread contamination of the area with nuclear radiation. As a result, the city had to be evacuated and abandoned. Today, Pripyat is a ghost town. The buildings are crumbling and the streets are overgrown with weeds. However, nature is slowly reclaiming the city. Trees and shrubs are growing out of the cracks in the pavement, and animals such as deer and wild boar can be seen roaming the streets. One of the most iconic images of Pripyat is the abandoned amusement park. The rides are rusting away and the Ferris wheel is covered in vines. Despite the danger posed by the nuclear contamination, nature is reclaiming Pripyat. This is a reminder that even in the darkest of places, life finds a way.